is the Wrestlebread podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 150 of the Wrestlebread podcast. So, I'm very happy to make it to 150 episodes. It has been a fun past 3 years, especially getting to know a lot of people, a lot of wrestling fans, stuff like that, and talking wrestling with everyone. So whether you've been supporting the podcast from day one or literally 5 minutes ago, I thank you so much. I do this for the joy of it. I don't make any money from this. So I really appreciate anyone who took the time out of their day just to listen to me talk for an hour or two about wrestling. But thank you. And I'm very happy to have made it to 150 episodes, and here's to a lot more. So this week, first of all, I completely forgot Backlash is coming this weekend. I even forgot that Mother's Day was this weekend. I actually thought it was next week. So I'll be giving out predictions for Backlash. And happy early Mother's Day to the mothers out there. If you're not a mom, if you're a fur mom, happy Mother's Day to you. You know, I celebrate the fur babies. And if you are not a mom, happy Mother's Day to your mom or your grandmom or any mother figures in your life. The Sixers have made it through to the next round. They go against the Miami Heat, and they lost the first game. But you know, I have hope. I don't know how good Miami Heat is. I'm assuming that they're still as good, probably not like LeBron James good when he was with the team, but I'm sure they're still a good team. And we also had the NFL draft last week. I missed part of night one. Like, I know who the Cowboys drafted, but I don't really keep up with college football, so I don't know if like the people who they drafted is like really, really good or not. I mainly do it just to, you know, get the entertainment factor of it all. I mean, I saw The Miz with his promo with the for his Cleveland Browns. I saw Titus O'Neil introduce the pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. But nothing compares to, first of all, Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football. I'm sure Vince McMahon is probably on the phone with him as we speak, trying to get him to appear at next year's, or probably at SummerSlam or something like that, with his promo for the Buffalo Bills pick. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. I mean, that bad boy was like Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior. Like, it was a straight up wrestling promo. Also Ed Marinaro. I never heard of him, but everybody's been talking about him because he had probably the longest introduction speech in the history of the NFL draft. It was to the point that a poor producer on headphones had to come out and tell him to read the damn card, which he eventually read after talking for almost 4 or 5 minutes straight about himself. You know, bless him. If I was him, I probably would have done the same damn thing, because guess what? We're all talking about him today. I'm sure a lot of people have Googled and looked him up as well. Also, I don't know what's going on in my mind. Like, I completely forgot that Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is coming out this week too. It's a lot going on this weekend, and I could have sworn everything was happening next weekend, so I gotta figure out how to go and see that movie. I don't know, maybe make it a Mother's Day gift or something like that. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on, and it's just been an exciting 2022 as a wrestling fan, as, you know, a nerd, gamer, whatever. It's just been a crazy 2022. So let me get into some news, some rumors as well. So first off, I'm sure you heard about a survey that WWE has sent out. I actually got the survey and I answered some of the questions. And some of the questions they asked about, NFTs, if you're interested in buying NFTs. They also mentioned a WWE Superstar ranking system. I guess the weekly rankings. I swear they used to do that many moons ago, but it's like potentially providing context on match opportunities. So I guess similar to what AEW is doing, where the number one person gets the title shot, which I was like, I'm not interested in because it's not going to work with WWE. WWE is the type of company where you can run in, attack the champion, and you automatically get a title shot because that's pretty much what they want to happen. It's not, the WWE doesn't have the patience of building up people with, feuds and stuff like that to build up wins and then put them in a title match. WWE doesn't have the patience for it because they're booking pay-per-views from month to month. And I can see if they were back to the quarter pay-per-views like AEW has, then yeah, you can build up wins and losses and stuff like that in little feuds in order to have the person who you want to be number one contender for the main title be number one contender. But WWE, no, it's not going to work. So I said I wasn't interested. I'm not interested in that because it's not going to work. Because we saw with Shinsuke Nakamura suddenly I think he was getting a title shot, and then that got wiped away. And then we have who else? We also have Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey going against each other again, which if you were doing a ranking system will not make any sense because once you are number one and get your title shot and you lose, normally that's a loss on your record and you're looking at whoever is number two to eventually get the title shot. So it just really doesn't make sense for WWE to kind of do a ranking system because they're literally booking from week to week, as we all know, of scripts being torn up an hour before the show and stuff like that. And then they also mentioned the ability to provide feedback on ongoing WWE storylines. And I said I wasn't interested in that because that's pointless. I mean, people have been bitching and moaning about things with WWE storylines for decades, and nothing has really changed unless you're talking about something as big as Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston and Becky Lynch. Other than those three in recent history, nothing. The fans' input hasn't been that strong enough to really sway, to change up a storyline, I should say. I mean, people were behind Liv Morgan. She got a title shot. She lost. People were behind different people. Mustafa Ali and Finn Balor at a certain point, and even like Damien Sandow back in the day. There's people who had become internet darlings and really didn't get a shot. So, and that's because, WWE, like I said in the previous episode, WWE is all about characters and storylines. They're not really into, what happens in the ring. So if there's, wrestlers out there, like, for example, Cesaro, even Finn Balor, people who are really good in the ring, but does not have the strongest character, they really don't get as much attention as, for example, the strong characters like Happy Corbin. As much as people don't like Happy Corbin, you have to really give him props because he really knows how to do his character. The Miz is another one of someone who really knows how to, be their character. So that was pretty much the survey, and so it was really short. And so, I was like, okay, so I don't know if that officially makes me like a WWE insider, like a lot of people in the podcast world like to say. But, I felt important for those few seconds. And then I was like, all right, well, I know y'all gonna like delete the results anyway. And just so y'all could say, Well, the fans have provided their feedback. We listened to it and we took it in consideration. That's pretty much a corporate thing to say. There's a bunch of rumors that have come out recently. So first of all, there are reports recently that Rodrick Strong has been requesting multiple times to be out of his contract over the past several months. And apparently they did not let him out of the contract because they have creative plans for him. Which, I'm not surprised about. This the same thing that happened with Mustafa Ali, as we see had returned back to Raw, and they are using the fact that he requested his release as part of the storyline, which allegedly was okayed by Mustafa Ali. And we see that he is involved in a feud with The Miz and Austin Theory. So who knows where that's going to go. According to Wrestler Observer News, allegedly there's been some talks about moving NXT TV back to Full Sail University. I don't see why. It worked with Full Sail when it had the black and gold NXT, but I feel as though them having NXT where it is now kind of works for them because, it's more of a controlled environment, I guess I should say, where the focus was more on the wrestlers and the characters and stuff like that. Whereas though when NXT was in Full Sail, I mean, you could really hear the crowd and stuff like that. Not saying that the crowd that's with NXT 2.0 right now is a bunch of plants, but it feels more controlled. I guess is a better way to put it. Like they'll cheer for who they will cheer for and boo who they will boo for. Also, WWE is having its first major stadium event in the UK in more than 30 years in September. WWE Clash at the Castle is over in Wales, and this is going to happen Saturday, September 3rd. Very interesting because that is the day before AEW's All Out. So that's going to be a very fun weekend. I've been wanting this since the last time they were there, which was 30 years ago, with SummerSlam 1992. So I'm very happy for the UK fans. They definitely deserve it. I mean, how many times they have traveled over to the United States for WrestleMania and been the most craziest crowd for the Raw after Mania, to the point that WWE would put on their best Raw, their most craziest Raw with great storylines and returns and call-ups and stuff like that because of that crowd. So props to them. I'm happy for them. I'm still hoping there will be a WrestleMania over there for them so they can tear it up and have the time of their life. Also, Cody Rhodes had mentioned on Corey Graves' After the Bell podcast that he is interested in bringing back the Winged Eagle Belt Championship design, the classic one that everyone loves. So, let's see how much pull he has in WWE. If they bring back the Winged Eagle Belt, then I'm going to just declare Vince McMahon insane, that he should be put into a home. If Cody Rhodes is able to get, that much pull to bring back a championship design that fans have been asking for a long time. I highly doubt it's going to happen because the belts now has the big W logo, the WWE logo on it. So I highly doubt that's going to happen. So now is the time of the year where WWE normally release people because it's after WrestleMania, and this time it is all NXT people. Some of the names were pretty surprising. First off was Dakota Kai, which I'm not that surprised about because they have been getting rid of a lot of the people from NXT 2.0. Either they released them or they got called up. I'm surprised that she wasn't permanently called up. Another one I'm slightly surprised about was Malcolm Bivens. He was the manager of Diamond Mine. I mean, WWE doesn't really do a lot of managers anyway. The rumor was that he decided not to resign, and they wanted him to be the manager for Omos, but he had declined before MVP has stepped in. And I believe the same thing with Dakota Kai. She was not going to re-sign at the end of her contract, so they probably decided to let her go now. Another one that I'm surprised about is Dexter Lumis. I mean, I did mention that maybe, it wouldn't be a place for him in NXT 2.0, but he was actively in a storyline with Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada, who was also released along with him as well. I figured that, they would let them do a little bit more with that storyline and, let it come to an end, because I think they were going to go up against, what were their names? Pretty Deadly or something like that. And I figured they was going to continue on the friendship or whatever it was from there. The biggest one that I am surprised about is Harlan, baby Brock Lesnar. I figured, they would keep him around and build him up so that when Brock Lesnar eventually retires, especially the fact that Goldberg is at the end of his run, that they will already have their big dominant guy to come up onto the main roster. So I'm very surprised that he was released. Also, they had let go of, Sanja George, Draco Anthony, Mila Milani, Raylan Devine, and Paige Piranzavali. I know I butchered that last name. Apparently, some of the people who were let go were not even given a chance to debut in front of the company. So maybe they have seen, backstage that, there wasn't really a lot of potential or progress with them. The rumor is that they will be doing this a little bit more often, that every 90 days they'll let go of people who haven't yet improved, especially since they are doing a lot of tryouts very so often. They also have the next in line as well, so they'll be mainly like rotating people. If you're not showing improvement or anything in 90 days, then they're gonna move you on out and make room for the next batch. So it's a lot of pressure. I mean, you can't really learn how to really do a lot in 90 days. I mean, this isn't like a fucking desk job or something, or a data entry where you can turn around and show a lot of progress within 90 days. I mean, they're taking people, straight from athletes who have zero background in wrestling or in acting or anything like that, and telling them, okay, we're going to teach you how to wrestle. We're going to teach you how to cut a promo. We're going to teach you how to, be a character and everything. And we expect you to do everything good enough in 90 days to kind of keep you around. I can see a year, let them develop in a year. There's a lot that can be done in a year. But, 90 days, that's a lot of pressure on people. And some people that they had let go was still pretty young. So wrestling has a pretty long shelf life for wrestlers. Because, as we see, a lot of the wrestlers that are on the main roster are in their 30s and 40s. So, people at least have 30, not 30, at least have like 20 years, that they can go through. I mean, Randy Orton just celebrated his 20th anniversary as far as wrestling on last Monday as well. And then, they're also like not really taking in people from the indies because they want people to kind of be, WWE raised and, come up with the next batch of Randy Ortons and John Cena and Batista and Brock Lesnar, the original people who didn't go through the indies and kind of like took in WWE took in and created, and, of course, their main, names that we know anywhere. So I'm pretty surprised that they're putting in allegedly this whole, you know, be good enough in 90 days and will either keep you or let you go. I feel as though, like I said, a year will probably be a lot better suited for, as far as the promise with wrestling. I mean, Jade Cargill is the champion over AEW, and the progress that she had made when she first came to the company versus a year or two later, is like night and day, especially with the guidance of Bryan Danielson as well. Also, this is a Mental Health Awareness Month. Bunny had actually came out on Twitter as of this recording and talked about her mental health issues. She wanted to bring up awareness with mental health, that she had recently decided to get help with what she is going through. She also stated, I want the stigma surrounding mental health issues to go away. So many people are struggling, and it's okay for us to talk about it. You do not have to suffer in silence. You are not alone, which I completely agree with, and I'm very happy that Bunny had went and got help. We have seen time and time again in the wrestling world, and even, personally in the news and stuff like that, of people who, didn't ask for help and tried to suffer in silence, and, their issues and their suffering pretty much consumed them. I mean, we had like a lot of people lost due to suicides and, just not being able to get the help that they wanted. This month will actually be the anniversary of Ashley Mazzaro, who we had lost. What has it been, like 7, 8 years maybe? I mean, it's been a long time. Maybe no, not that long. Probably like 2, 3 years, I think. It hasn't really been that long ago. I don't think it's been that long ago. But yeah, just people who we have lost recently, who were suffering and struggling. And if you are suffering and struggling, definitely reach out and ask for help. You can ask for help from a trusted friend. You can, talk to a therapist. There's a lot of hotlines and, a lot of organizations out there that will help you with whatever it is you're going through. And it's a struggle. I've dealt with mental health. There's this big stigma with society of, having to basically have all your shit together at a certain point in your life. As a mom, there's this whole expectation for you to be a super mom and for you not to put yourself first. And that was something that I struggled with a lot. Like, I even feel guilty when I would used to do the podcast, because I feel as though, this time that I'm taking away of being a mom and stuff like that. And it took me a while to like really be okay with doing something for myself. And, I'm not a bad mom for it, because, society puts so much pressure on you as a parent that you have to put yourself last and you have to take care of everyone. And if you do anything for yourself, it's considered selfish, which it isn't. Selfish, I mean, self-care is not selfish. It's, taking care of yourself. There's a saying that, I try to go by: you can't pour into other people's cups if your cup is empty. You have to fill up your cup in order to pour into other people's cup. You have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. That's why on the airplane, with the breathing mask, they ask you to put yours on first before you can help anyone else. You can't help others unless you help yourself first. So if you are suffering or having issues with anything, just ask for help. Ask for help. It's okay to talk about it. It's not okay. It's okay to not be okay. So don't suffer in silence. Please don't. So with that, I will be going into the week, I'm gonna go into AEW first, and then I'm gonna talk about WWE, and then get into the Backlash predictions. So this week, AEW was in Philly. I did not go. I wanted to go. I knew they was gonna pull some really good matches out of it, especially possibly Rampage. But yeah, this time around, tickets were a bit more expensive than it was before. I mean, I was able to get really good prices, really good seats last year for a really good price on StubHub. But this year, it's like people had kind of like caught on to it, and so the tickets were a lot more expensive. And I couldn't got I mean, like the nosebleed seats were at a good price, but I really didn't want to go. I didn't really want to go to a nosebleed seat, especially for how long the show is and how late I'll be leaving out. It wasn't worth it. Like, so I was fine with being home. If it was just AEW Dynamite, I probably would have gone, but it's just the fact that it's AEW Dynamite and then it's AEW Rampage, and by the time you get out, it's like 11 o'clock. By the time you get home with the traffic and everything, it'll end up being midnight. And so yeah, it's a lot. But as far as AEW Dynamite, I would say the first time they came to Philly was a lot better than this time. It was exciting to see some of the matches. Starting out, we had the Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament Qualifier, Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler. I really love the way this feud was set up. That it was two people, like, they didn't have to break up as a tag team in order for them to go against each other. I hate it when you break up a really good tag team because you want to do the feud of them going against each other. I love the way that this was set up, that they both was like, look, we're still a tag team. We want to face each other in honor of Owen Hart because of how they feel about the Hart family and everything. And that, at the end of the day, they're going to shake each other's hands. I love the fact that they came out together. I love that. They were really pushing the fact, like, no, we're still a tag team, we're doing this to kind of see who's the better competitor, and, just like friendly competition. And so this was a really good match. The only thing I had a problem with was the finish. I don't know what it is with AEW and even with WWE, sometimes with these finishers, um, everyone loves to do the roll up. Now, I get Xavier Woods doing the roll up because that's his actual finisher, but it just felt like we could have done something a little better than a simple roll up. It kind of gets silly after a while, and it deflates the match when you do like a simple roll up out of nowhere. I'd rather for you know I'd rather for Dax to, do a finisher or, pull something out of the hat that we haven't seen before, that his partner hasn't seen before, and, get the pin that way. And then have them, shake hands and stuff like that and hug it out afterwards as well. But it was just the fact that finisher, that roll up really kind of like it wasn't that good. As far as the match goes, very technical match. If you were looking for flips and stuff like that, you don't get that with these two. It was a very technical match, very heart family type of style of match, where, you have to like really pay attention to see what was going on. But I loved it, and I was happy that it started off. We also had the Blackpool Combat Club, Yuta Wheeler coming out with the in his hometown of Philly. I love how he has been built up, with him, being like this new, um, I was about to say gritty baby face, but I don't know, they're not really, I mean, they're not really baby faces. I forgot which side they leave out of. I don't even think it matters really in AEW because people cheer for whoever they cheer for. Um, we also had Wardlow versus Lance Archer, which is a match that I would really like to see, but I already knew, like, you already know who was going to win, and Lance Archer has been losing so many times. This could have been a really good match, truthfully. I feel as though like they could have played it right and had this happen at a pay-per-view, and but yeah, I don't know. It's just like they're starting to get into the habit of, because they want to add wins to someone, like someone has to lose. And with AEW, wins and losses actually matter. So Lance Archer is now going, slowly further down the ladder. And while yes, he can build up wins on AEW Dark and Elevation, when he comes back on Dynamite, people are going to remember all these losses that he took on Dynamite and Rampage versus paying attention to how he worked Dark and Elevation. So, when you kind of look at him, you don't really take him as serious because he lost in big matches. Very, it gives me that Bray Wyatt vibes where, when it comes to the really big matches, he always lose. But he'll win like the small matches. But when it comes to like something really big, he always lose. That kind of gives me those type of vibes. The Jericho Appreciation Society using a fireball, very WWE. Some people had an issue with it. Me, I don't get the point of it, really. Like when it was used, because people made the comparison of when Alexa Bliss used it versus Jericho. When Alexa Bliss used it, she's using her mystical powers. So her shooting a fireball out of her shooting a fireball, while it was dumb, like it makes sense. She's a mystical being. Fireballs are used. Undertaker, Kane, all that, Bray Wyatt, whatever you see, fire can be used. Chris Jericho using it, I don't know. It's like they're using sports entertainment, so I get it. It is what it is, really. I'm going to wait to see how it plays out with this fireball. Like, is Eddie Kingston going to come back with like a bandage or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, we're starting to take away the realness out of it. Like we're going into the sports entertainment world, but it's like Chris Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society are doing like sports entertainment stuff. So it's like, I don't know if they're doing this to pick at WWE, like to make fun of sports entertainment, or if we're actually doing this seriously with AEW. Like, is Eddie Kingston going to come out with a bandage and sell it and stuff like that? That's what I'm like. I don't want to jump to conclusions with this until I see the whole thing played through. Like, is this a one-off type of situation? Like, Eddie Kingston gets written off for like a few weeks, he goes on vacation or whatever, and he comes back like completely fine. We completely forget about it, and Eddie Kingston just come back and want to kick ass or something? Or is this like, are we really doing this type of situation? I completely popped when Jericho called the AEW fans the AEW Galaxy. Chef's kiss to that one. I cracked up at that one. We also had the Philly street fight of Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. Now look, this is where, for me, Dynamite went really bad. Now, match-wise, Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida, very good feud. Very good feud. They have good chemistry. My issue is, you called this a Philly street fight. I should have tagged, I know Tony Khan's on Twitter. I should have tagged him and go, Tony Khan, this is not a Philly street fight. Now, I'm not asking for blood or anything like that, but if you're going to say, we're coming into Philadelphia, the hometown of a lot of shit that happens in wrestling, and we're going to put on a Philly street fight, first of all, there are expectations for that. First of all, they didn't even use tables. They used chairs and a kendo stick, and I forgot. Oh, they used powder. It's not a street fight. Like, if this happened And like, like the Minnesota, what was it? Minnesota street fight that had more shit than the Philly street fight. They ain't even have boxing gloves. They ain't even do any representation of Rocky or anything like that. I didn't feel there wasn't even a cheesesteak thrown or something. Like I didn't see no water ice, being eaten or something or smashed in the face. Like I if I was looking at that match and you didn't tell me that was a Philly street fight, I wouldn't have been able to tell that that was a Philly street fight. That wasn't even really a street fight. It felt more like a no DQ match. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to say street fight, there's such an expectation for a street fight. Like you gotta use more weapons than that. Like I'm not asking for blood or for thumbtacks or anything like that if they weren't comfortable with it. But you could have brought out some other stuff. Serena D could have put on punching gloves and started, dancing around like Rocky or something like that. That might have been silly, but at least that would have gave me more of a Philly vibe than what we got. Like they did the Minnesota John and they brought out shit that I didn't even know came from Minnesota. They also did, I think they did a Chicago street fight and they had things that represented Chicago. Like nothing in that match represented Philly. Like I didn't feel special with the street fight match. With the street fight. Yeah, I mean, it would have been better off if they had said a no DQ match. You know what I mean? But when they said Philly street fight, there is an expectation. Especially it's a fucking extreme city. ECW was born there. So there's an expectation if you're going to say Philly street fight. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about Philly street fights. But yeah, there's just like such an expectation I had for it. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good ass match because they had good chemistry, really good feud with them too. But it was so lackluster, and I damn near wanted to turn off the show with that. Um, that that was not a street fight. Sorry to say. Um, we also had the 10-man tag with the Undisputed Elite with new shirts, by the way. I'm not that like blown away by the shirt design for Undisputed Elite. With all the t-shirts that AEW loves to put out, it looks a little bland, first of all, to me. Like if really that shirt design reminds me of FTR's Titantron. Really. Like I don't like that that doesn't really give me branding of the Elite or Undisputed. Um I was hoping that there would be like a better logo or something like that, but it was just basically like words. So, but yeah, I'm excited for that we have the Undisputed Elite. Can't wait for Kenny Omega to come back to see what that's going to turn out to be. Of course, we're definitely going down the road of the Elite versus the Undisputed. I guess the Undisputed. I don't know if they're going to be the Undisputed Elite or not, but definitely going down that road. We also had the ladder match for the TNT Championship, Sammy Guevara versus Scorpio Sky, where Scorpio won. And I'm happy that he won, this time around with Sammy Guevara really turning heel. Now he got a lot more fan support, because now we have that double turn that has happened. I don't know. It feels like we're just playing hot potato with this TNT Championship. And now Frankie Kazarian is looking to get his title shot, as well. Um, but I don't know. But I do like the fact that they are treating the TNT title as something big, and they're doing the same thing with the TBS title. They're treating it like something big, and I'm very happy that like I'm like they're playing hot potato a little bit with the TNT Championship, but I'm just hoping that it was just to put the heat on Sammy Guevara and turn Scorpio Sky into the babyface. But I'm very happy that Scorpio won. I'm hoping this title reign will be a lot better than the first one. The first one just felt like they just wanted to get it done and really didn't know what to do after he won. Um, it was very confusing. As far as with Rampage, we had Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland for the Owen Hart qualifier. Darby Allin won after a distraction from Ricky Starks, so we're going down that road of Ricky Starks and Hobbs versus Swerve and Keith Lee once again. Keep that going. We also had the new group, Jay Cargill and the Baddies. First of all, respectfully, I love the entrance. Respectfully, I'm happy that we're seeing Kiera Hogan again. That they're giving Red Velvet something. This match, like I said, the potential is there. It's just the women aren't experienced yet. And so we're going to get some sloppiness. We're going to get some, ooh, like cringe type of moments. But, gosh, this is going to be a really good women's division in about 3 years' time. That's how I'm feeling. It's just, we're not there yet. We are not there yet. But definitely happy that, we're seeing it, but it's just not there yet. We also had Keith Lee wrestling as well against Colton Gunn. Of course, they were chanting the Ass Boys as well. And then we had the main event of Samoa Joe versus Trent Beretta for the Ring of Honor TV title. And I do like the fact that whenever the Ring of Honor championship is being defended, that they bring out the announcer and then they bring out the commentator as well. And they explain, the Ring of Honor tradition of shaking hands and stuff like that, being carried on, which is really nice. I always knew that was a tradition with Ring of Honor, that they always shook hands. The Code of Honor handshake, I believe it's called. So I'm happy that, Tony Khan decided to bring that on with AEW as well. Samoa Joe, ladies and gentlemen. He is back to his regular self, and so I'm hoping that he doesn't get injured, because he is a little injury prone. So I'm hoping he doesn't get injured, and that we can keep seeing him. Definitely perfect as the Ring of Honor TV champion. Very expected once Tony Khan got Ring of Honor that he would appear with Ring of Honor, so I'm happy that we have that. We also had the supposed match of Hook versus Danhausen, which didn't happen because I think it was Tony Nese. Tony Nese had came out and interrupted the eventual face-to-face confrontation. But Hook and Danhausen have decided to join forces. And everyone was chanting Hook Hawson, shout out to Philly for, putting that together. Not saying that, we started it, but we chanted it. So, happy that that's happening. It really gives me, now don't come at me, but it gives me slight, Rock and Sock vibes. Like the popular, fan favorite versus, the guy who probably wouldn't be, teaming up with someone like Hook. Like we wouldn't imagine, Danhausen teaming up with Hook. Like you wouldn't imagine Mankind teaming up with The Rock, but it's happening and it looks like it's going to be something enjoyable. I'm still surprised that Hook is speaking and that he doesn't have a weird voice or something like that. Because that was, I'm not gonna lie, the fact that he wasn't talking, I'm sitting here like it's probably because his voice doesn't match the face. Like he probably has a high pitched voice or something like that. Like something weird going on. But overall, AEW Philly was okay. It was just unnecessary expectations placed on some matches that really didn't pan out. So, we're going down the road to Double or Nothing. We're gonna have CM Punk versus Hangman Page, which will be 6 months of Hangman Page's title reign, which I figured was going to end. They really didn't do much with his title reign. Like, his title reign wasn't exciting. Now, the matches that he had was really good, but as far as like ongoing feuds, it really didn't compare to the feud that he had with Kenny Omega. It was like the champions that came before him had, really good feuds and stuff like that with Moxley and Jericho and Kenny Omega. But with him, for some reason, it was just like the title chase was a lot more exciting than the actual title reign. And it felt like they really didn't have anything for him. I mean, Adam Cole feud was kind of promising, but it kind of like stopped there. They put an end to it, and now he is going against CM Punk. Obviously CM Punk is going to win. Like, I will be very surprised if somehow CM Punk loses to this, because then it's like, well, who's going to take the title off of Hangman Page? Is it going to be Kenny Omega again or something? But yeah, I fully expect CM Punk to win here, and then just, continue on with the title. It makes sense for him to win the title. He draws numbers whenever, like, there was an AEW Dynamite where that felt like a filler. They threw him on there and people tuned in. So it would make sense for him to win the title and carry on the torch until they decide who is going to take the title off of him. Because he's been back for a while. It's been a little over 6 months still, but still, he's still he's still a hot attraction. The fact that he hasn't been seen for 7 years, he's still a hot attraction for AEW. So, I feel like it makes sense. Ray Phoenix is also back too. I'm very excited about that. I forgot to point that out. So going into WWE, we had Raw last week. Tommaso Ciampa is now just Ciampa. He lost Tommaso. Okay. He seemed to be he seemed to be part of the feud with I think it was Mustafa Ali. I think he attacked him or something like that. But now Mustafa Ali is dealing with The Miz and Austin Theory. I believe they're trying to look towards a title shot for him that might happen at Backlash. Because Backlash, once again, just like WrestleMania, kind of feels half done. I mean, we have 6 matches here. Not all titles are being defended. Not all champions are even on here. So, it feels like we have a little more things to add on to there, and then potentially something happened on the pre-show if they weren't already. My boo Asuka is back. She is back and she came face to face with Becky Lynch. Becky, who was looking down on her damn luck because she lost her title and feels as though no one will stop her, and Asuka came out and said, "Think again, bitch." Haha. Because Asuka has yet to be defeated by Becky Lynch. I believe that is the truth. If I'm lying, then blame it on WWE. So it looked like we're gonna get that matchup on Backlash as well. We also had with SmackDown, I don't know what happened to Shinsuke Nakamura. Allegedly, they're saving that match for a non-pay-per-view or something like that, or not a big pay-per-view. But suddenly, Shinsuke Nakamura is not there. We're not unifying the tag team titles. Maybe they're doing that towards SummerSlam or something. But we're getting a 6-man tag with the bloodline with RK Bros and Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre has moved on from Happy Corbin and is now in the title picture. This is why we don't need a ranking system. We don't need a ranking system. Look where Drew McIntyre just went from like mid-car back to the title picture with one win. I mean, he won a few times, but still with one win. Lacey Evans talking about her past as well. She talked about being kicked out of a home and joining the military and stuff like that. I still don't know how we are tying this into wrestling. Like what? How is this appearing in the ring? Um, like I don't know if we're going for like the ultimate underdog or something. But like I said, you could have easily just went. WWE loves to rehash things and recycle. Like, you could have easily recycled Sergeant Slaughter. It's, like, right there. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, it's right there. Toss up. Instead, no, we're going to go around the block 6 times to get to the right side of the house. It's just. And sometimes it's just like, you guys are making it difficult on yourselves. We also have now Matt Cat Moss versus Happy Corbin. Oh yeah, that's right. Drew McIntyre was feuding against Sami Zayn. I completely forgot about that. That goes to show how exciting that feud has been. And then of course we have Drew Gulak being beat down by Charlotte Flair once again. Shotzi appeared on SmackDown and she tapped out in a minute and 41 seconds as well. We had the 20 years of celebration. We had the 20-year anniversary of Randy Orton. There was a bit of a celebration. Cody Rhodes was brought out. The reunion, part of a reunion with Legacy as well. Great video package for Randy Orton as well. We had Bianca Belair versus Sonya Deville. I thought this would have been a pay-per-view match. I thought this match was actually going to be set up for Backlash, but it looked like we're doing it for Raw. So I'm guessing it will be eventually will be a match for Backlash, but I'm not 100% sure. We also had more of the 24/7 championship with Dana Brooke as well, who is married to Reggie. Okay. We also had Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. First of all, the names. I don't know if WWE like throws things into the name generator with some of this. But we finally get the name of Edge and Damian Priest, Edge and his potential faction, which is Judgment Day, which of course was a pay-per-view name that was retired. I forgot when it was retired, but it hasn't been like 30 years to where as though like people forgot about it. Like we could have came up with something better than that. Like Judgment Day. We could have came up with something better than that. But that entrance though, where Edge was sitting on the fucking throne and Damian Priest was like standing next to him, and they glided down the ramp. Fucking awesome. That oh my gosh. I loved it. I loved it. It gave me Undertaker vibes there because there was an entrance that Undertaker had. He was like on a carriage or something like that, and he like glided out. I think it was for a Royal Rumble or something. I forgot what it was he came out of, but he kind of like glided out as well. It was another pay-per-view where he just like stood on something and he kind of glided, and they had they had the fog out there and stuff like that, so it looked like he was just gliding on air. But goodness gracious, I love that entrance from them. I love the song, of course. It's the same band that did Edge's theme, so previous theme, and so I love the theme. I love the vibes. They could have definitely had gave it a name that was like drawn off a blade or something like that, because that's the vibes they give me. Like they really give me like vampire vibes. Especially the fact that, Edge is pulling out from the Ministry of Darkness and from Brood as well. But you could have came up with something better than Judgment Day. Like when you say Judgment Day, I'm not thinking of a faction. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. Not everything is going to be 100% good. You know what I mean? We have to sacrifice something. So we're sacrificing a really good feud with a name that definitely could have gotten better. Um, so let me get into these backlash predictions. So first of all, we have Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss, of course, with the breakup between these two. The jokester is no longer cutting jokes for Happy Corbin. But I'm gonna go with Madcap Moss for this one. I feel as though I don't know. I feel as though Happy Corbin can take losses, truthfully. I feel like with Madcap Moss getting, becoming the babyface and getting over with the crowd, that he's going to get the win here. We also had an arm wrestling match, which was very generic. Like, I really do not like when they do these arm wrestling matches and stuff like that. It feels like a waste of time. They're strong. We get it. Like, I don't need to watch them. I don't need to watch is he going to lose? No, he suddenly wins. And then the heel attacks, or the face almost get the win, and then the heel attacks. Like, it's very, I've seen arm wrestling matches like 5,000 times, and they always go the same way. So between Bobby Lashley and Omos, we have it's more of Bobby Lashley versus MVP anyway. I'm taking Bobby Lashley with this one. I'm being like 100% biased because I like Bobby Lashley. That was my champion, damn it. The championship that he never lost. So I'm hoping maybe we go in that direction. Like, Drew McIntyre go against Roman Reigns and lose and whatever. But I'm hoping that Bobby Lashley kind of slip in there and cause distraction or something. I don't know. Next up, we have AJ Styles versus Edge. I saw on Raw that I believe Damian Priest is now banned from ringside. I'm going with Edge here. I feel like we're going to get an introduction to another member of the Judgment Day. I don't know. If they wanted to use the word judgment, I get it. But I don't know. They could have did something better than Judgment Day. But Edge will get it over. That's for certain. But yeah, AJ Styles versus Edge. I'm taking Edge here. Next up, we have for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey in an I Quit match. Really painting themselves in a corner here, because it's like you're gonna have Ronda Rousey say I quit, but then on top of that it's Charlotte Flair. But I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey here. I feel as though, especially the fact that she's breaking out the ankle lock now, because of Kurt Angle. Suddenly now she has a new move after how long it's been since she teamed up with Kurt Angle, and you're just taking the ankle lock. Like, that should have been the first thing you take from him. Like you say, okay, thank you, Kurt Angle, I'm taking the ankle lock. Like, that should have been she would have won WrestleMania had she had taken the ankle lock. But we waited so many years later. We waited 3 years later to suddenly have an ankle lock. But I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey here. Truthfully, I feel like Ronda Rousey can definitely use like a manager or something like that. Ever since she came back, her on the mic it feels like she's reading. Like, it really feel like she don't really care that much. And I know you're like, Jaydee, though. You're putting the damn title on her. I know. But I feel like I'm hoping that they do something for her. Um, but I feel like we need something here. Like if Charlotte Flair wins, like what is Ronda going to do? You know what I mean? I feel like we're gonna play out this feud until SummerSlam. It's not really, um, it's not really a lot of women on SmackDown that could really challenge, can really like hop in here unless you're talking Bayley, but I highly doubt that. I don't see Bayley coming in to take out Ronda Rousey. I can see her doing that with Charlotte Flair, but I don't know. Like I'm not putting down Bayley, but the way that WWE had presented Bayley before she got injured, I don't see her just coming in and, going after Ronda Rousey. Now, if they prove me wrong, I will completely love it. And I hope they prove me wrong. I'm hoping that the WWE insider that is listening to the podcast right now can sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to prove her ass wrong. Prove me wrong. Please, please do. I would love for you to build up Bayley big enough to take on Ronda Rousey and beat her. Love for you to do that. Please do it. Please do it. And push it and make sure it doesn't get torn up by Vince McMahon. But like all the other women on SmackDown are on tag teams or is going after the tag team championship. We have Naomi and Sasha Banks as champions. We have Natalya and Shayna Baszler who are on a team. Now I gotta really think. It's not a lot of women on SmackDown. Shotzi has been beaten in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Aaliyah has been beaten in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Like they're pretty much beaten down the women on SmackDown. So there's not a lot of women on SmackDown right now that can really stand toe to toe with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. Like I forgot about Lacey Evans. I'm not 100% sure what they're gonna do with her. Like I don't know if they're doing all this to really build her up for an underdog, but if they are, like she wouldn't go against Ronda Rousey with this persona. That would be a complete waste of these 4 to 10 weeks of her cutting promos backstage. Xia Li, they kind of like changed. It feels like they changed up her character. Like I said, Shotzi got beaten. Shayna Baszler is in the tag team. They got Raquel Rodriguez, but I don't think they're gonna build her up that high either. She might be. She might be. Well, no, she might be built up to go against Shotzi, maybe. But there's not really a lot of women on SmackDown that could really contend with them two. So eventually, I guess we'll be waiting for either Bayley to come back or we're waiting for Sasha Banks to be done as far as for her to be done with the tag team title for her to go against Charlotte Flair. But I'm gonna go with Ronda Rousey here. I feel like we're gonna just continue this feud between these two until SummerSlam, and then I feel like Charlotte's gonna win the title back then, and then we're going to, I don't know, either combine the titles or we're gonna continue on with a feud between her and Sasha at that point, probably. So then we got Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes with the 10 minutes entrance with the 2 times the pyro. I mean, the pyro guy, I feel bad for the pyro guy because you really gotta pay attention during his entrance, and then you're doing it twice because he comes out to cut the promo, and he gets set up for the match, and he comes out again for the match later on the night. So I feel bad for whoever the promo guy is. But him versus Seth Rollins, I'm gonna take Cody Rhodes here. I still cannot believe that he is in WWE and that he is, being presented as big as he is, like he's really being presented as a big deal. Really kind of putting WWE in a good place as far as how they could potentially be treating AEW wrestlers. Like I said, I'm waiting for the time period after SummerSlam where, the booking gets a bit wonky to see if they're gonna still book him as strong as everyone else. But I don't know. I feel bad for people who've been on the WWE roster for so long and haven't really gotten the opportunity to, kind of shine in the spotlight. And then here comes Cody Rhodes with the excellent entrance and, getting to be, first on the program and then be set up for the main event match or, the top of the hour match and, kind of be treated as a big deal. But I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes here. I feel like I don't know, like we're he keeps talking about going after the title, and I don't think Vince or Nick Khan or anyone in the WWE decisioning area have the balls to have Cody Rhodes take the title off of your, you know, your bread, your baby Roman Reigns, who you have, brought up in the wrestling world and have put over for the past 7 years. And you have him have this title reign for 2 years for him to lose the title to the guy who came from your competitor, who is only big because he came from your competitor, and you're going to have him take the title off of Roman Reigns. That will be the craziest 2022 thing to happen. And yes, I'm saying that with the fact that Cody Rhodes came to WWE. That's crazy. But the craziest thing is for him to, within the year, take the title off of Roman Reigns, whom Brock Lesnar couldn't take the title off of. I don't care how he won. He still defeated Brock Lesnar. On the paper, when you find out all the damn people he defeated these past 2 years, and here comes fucking Cody Rhodes with that big ass neck tattoo, and he defeats Roman Reigns. That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. Twitter's gonna explode, and I'm going to be eating my popcorn while I read all the tweets, all the rants, all the raging, not the crazy people, putting out the fucking video wishing death and shit. I don't agree to that. But people going crazy, I'll read them tweets. Not super crazy, but just upset, mildly raging, I'll say. I'll read those tweets cuz those are entertaining. And not the psychotic shit. I don't do this psychotic shit. But Cody Rhodes winning the title this year after all the people, after the fact that Bobby Lashley never lost his title, I might mildly rage on that one. Bobby Lashley never lost his title. Doesn't even mention that he lost the title and that he didn't technically lost the title. He immediately goes after Omos and says, "You know what? I'm going to fucking arm wrestle that guy." He doesn't get the title shot, but Cody Rhodes gets the title shot and win off of the tribal chief, the bloodline, while The Rock has his show going on. That will be crazy. That will be absolutely bonkers. But I'm gonna go for Cody Rhodes here, because if we're gonna do it, we have to start the wins somewhere. Unfortunately, with Seth Rollins. So then, which I think may be the main event, we're gonna have the 6-man tag of Drew McIntyre and the Raw Tag Team Champions RK Bro versus the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, the Bloodline. I feel like we're doing this 6-man tag just so that Drew and RK Bro gets the win. I feel like we may be setting up towards, I'm assuming we're eventually building up towards the eventual match between him and Roman Reigns. This may happen next month. Or they might have the balls to just keep this bad boy going until SummerSlam. But this may go until next month for the next pay-per-view, which I completely forgot what it was. I don't know if it's Money in the Bank or Hell in a Cell or Extreme Rules. Like, I completely forgot what it was. Um, I believe it might be Money in the Bank coming up next in June. But yeah, I feel like we're building up for that. Like we could possibly be building, like I said, we could possibly be building up for SummerSlam, but I highly doubt it. Actually, the next one is Hell in a Cell. And then it's Money in the Bank, and then it's SmackDown. So, alright, well, we can throw that out. I don't know what the hell is happening for next month, but maybe for Money in the Bank, who knows, but um I'm going to say this six-man tag is happening for Drew McIntyre and RK Bro to win, and then it starts the one-on-one feud between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Who knows? This may lead to a Hell in a Cell match between a six-man tag once again. Who knows? There's additional matches that's happening. Asuka versus Becky Lynch. If that is happening, I'm going to take Asuka, being 100% biased here. Also Bianca versus Sonya Deville, possibly for the title. If that happens, I am taking Bianca as well. Um, Maybe Mustafa versus Austin Theory. That's gonna be it's not gonna be a tough one. It's just gonna be like what I want to happen, versus what I think will happen. Like I would love for Mustafa to win the title, even though it'd be crazy. I feel like that may be like a deal to got him that got him to wrestling again, is them telling him, we'll have you win the title, we'll have you win the title off of Austin Theory. Or this could be them, promising him something, have him have a feud to put over Austin Theory and then release him then. We could go either way. But I'm just gonna throw it out there and say that Allie wins. What I think will happen is for Austin Theory to win. Actually, I'm switching my pick. I'm doing it. I'm switching my pick. I feel like Austin Theory is going to win because Mustafa Ali is actually going to start his feud. I think it was Tommaso Ciampa that he got attacked by. But I think it's going to start his actual feud between him and The Miz or Tommaso Ciampa. I keep calling her Tommaso Ciampa. I know it's just Ciampa, but Tommaso Ciampa just kind of flows a little better. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Theory here, and I don't know what we're gonna do from Theory after that. Um, Possibly a match between Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens. If why are we doing it if that's not where it's going? I'm gonna go with KO if that happens. I feel like, it's a very fun feud, first of all. Like I said, this situation with Ezekiel saying that he is the younger brother of Elias, like, it doesn't work. It only works because of Kevin Owens. I feel as though, like, if it wasn't for Kevin Owens, it wouldn't be as entertaining. Because uh Zeke is definitely like created a character off of WWE 2K22. Like it makes no sense whatsoever of how he is dressed like the Ultimate Warrior, and then he just does the basic pose and stuff like that. I don't even know what the guy's music sounds like. I know they played it, but I completely forgot what his music sounds like. Um I think that's all I could think of. So that will put it at 10. And we're not even I forgot who the Ricochet. No, not Ricochet. No. Finn Balor was defeated by Theory. So I think Ricochet is the other champion. And I completely forgot who the hell he was kind of feuding with. It's possible we may get Butch or something like that involved with the New Day. Oh, Ricochet is still champion. So I don't know if he's going to be defending his title at Backlash. We still have to see what is going to happen with him. We have the Usos versus Sheamus and Rich Holland. still floating around there, so I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna be doing with that. Um, and I feel like we have maybe 2 to 3 matches on top of that. Um, and then we have also too, LA Knight is floating around out there. So I don't know when he's going to be coming out to when he's going to be appearing on the main roster as well. I think he actually faced Jinder Mahal for the title shot at one point. But it didn't, of course, he retained. So I don't know what we are doing as far as Backlash. It may just be a random match with with wait, or was it? I'm slightly confused. I know Theory has the title. Yeah, because he defeated Finn Balor. Okay. I was looking up on, you probably will see it. I was looking on WWE.com because I keep forgetting who is still on the roster, and Finn Balor's picture still has him holding the United States champion, and that threw me off completely. When I saw that, because I was like, wait, Austin Theory defeated him, so he shouldn't have the title, but here he is with the title still as of May 2nd, and he hasn't had the title for a hot minute. So, but I feel as though there's going to be we're going to get another member of Judgment Day appearing. We also have the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy as well. Since we're playing that up. We also have Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan still floating around there as well. I don't know what's going on with the Mysterios. They've been gone. Um, but yeah, I they still got Undertaker listed as they still got Undertaker listed, or maybe I don't no, I don't know. They still got Undertaker listed as a wrestler on here. Like he said, never say never. So but yeah, we still have a lot of matches that have yet to be announced. You know how it is with WWE. We will still get. It'll be the pre-show, and they'll still be dropping matches as well. But I know that NXT 2.0 has a special coming up. I believe it's called Spring Breakin', which when I hear that, it reminds me of, I don't know, like an 80s movie of about being a b-boy and breakdancing and stuff. But look like that's not what it is. But yeah, we have that coming up as well. I will be coming out with the a slice from Jaydee series once again, and I'm gonna be talking about NXT 2.0. Because there's the news that I did not talk about was the the recent interview with Amber Moon, where she had talked about the state of NXT 2.0 and how she used to have meetings with management down in NXT 2.0, and she was told about they were told about dressing more sexy, and she was upset because she felt as though I really shouldn't be sitting in a 2-hour meeting talking about how to be sexy like Mandy Rose. And of course there were people who took those words out of context and talked about her and stuff like that. But it really brought up something that I have talked about, which is the state of NXT 2.0, which is the state of NXT now with NXT 2.0, and some of the things I've noticed, especially with the commercials, as far as the presentation of wrestling in that term. So yeah, Slice from Jaydee will be me talking about that as well. And I probably might add a second slice from Jaydee, who knows, because I'm gonna also be talking about this whole Forbidden Door, which I really didn't dive that much into this week. But just my thoughts about this whole Forbidden Door and if it's actually beneficial to New Japan, or is it or if it's beneficial for AEW as well. But that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Coming up next week will be my review of Backlash, and my breakdown of more AEW as well as we get closer to Double or Nothing, and on to the next event for WWE. But some shout out to Julian Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast on AlternativeMinds.com, Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show, Chris from We Talk Next Podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show, Nando and Larry from Half K Podcast, Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling. Also shout out to Straight Talk Wrestling, Circle Debate, Top Rope Wrestling Podcast, Dirty Heels as well. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at JDC137. That's JAYDEE, the letter C137. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Wrestlebread as well. Be sure to get the links in the bios for the Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube channel as well, which I will be doing reactions to different New Japan matches and entrances as well, because I got to do some homework. But you can also find the TikTok as well. I'm going to be restarting Twitch, so you'll eventually see the link to the Twitch there as well. Probably in the next 2 weeks I'll be starting it. I'm just getting some things together before I really dedicate that certain amount of time towards streaming. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about Backlash. Are you excited for it? Is there a match that you are most excited for? But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, guys, peace.